Hi, Mr. John here. I got a new book. It's called It's Too Noisy by Joanna and Kate Duke. Do you have a noisy house sometimes? Do you want it to be quiet? Well, this farmer had a very noisy house. Here we are. Once there was a little house. Do you know who lived there? Well, it was a farmer and his wife, Grandpa and Grandma, and lots of kids. I think there were 7, and a little baby. Ah, it was so noisy. Day and night there was always lots of yelling and singing and snoring and laughing and fighting and squabbling and crying. It was noisy. The poor farmer just wanted it to be quiet. So he went to a wise man. He said, wise man, my house is full of people and it's so noisy. What can I do? And the wise man said, I know what you must do. You must bring in the rooster and the chickens and put them into the house. Huh? The farmer thought that was kind of strange, but he did what the wise man said. He got the chickens, and he got the rooster, cock-a-doodle-doo, and he put them in the house. That night there was lots of yelling and singing and music and laughter and fighting and crying. And now there was lots of cock-a-doodle-doo and pock. It was so noisy. The next day, the farmer went to the wise man again. He said, wise man, it's so noisy. And the wise man thought, and he said, I know what you do. You should go and get your sheep and your pigs and put them in the house. Now the farmer thought that was a little strange, but that's what he did. He got the pigs and he got the sheep there and he put them in the house. That night it was so noisy. There was yelling and singing and music and fighting and crying and squabbling and cock-a-doodle-doo and moo and pigs and sheep. It was so noisy. It was more noisier than before. The poor farmer went to the wise man again. Wise man. Noise, 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 he said. I can't stand it anymore. The wise man said, I know what you should do. You should put your donkey in the house and the cows. What? Said the farmer. He thought it was strange. But that night he got the donkey and he got the big cow and he put them in the house. Oh my goodness. Now there was yelling and singing and laughter and fighting and crying and chickens and cock-a-doodle-doo and pigs and sheep and donkeys and cows moo moo. It was noisy. The poor farmer could not sleep at all. I don't think you'd be able to sleep, would you? The next day he went to the wise man for the last time. Oh, wise man, it's so noisy. My house is like a barn. What shall I do? And the wise man said, I think you should put all the animals back outside. So he did just what the wise man said. He put the chickens out, and he put the rooster out, cock-a-doodle-doo, and he put out the pigs, and he put out the sheep and he put out the donkey, and he put out the cow, moo. Was the little house still noisy? Was it still noisy? Well, there was still a lot of yelling and singing and laughter and Grandpa snoring. There was even a little bit of fighting and squabbling and crying, but there was no clucking. There was no roosters. Cock-a-doodle-doo. There was no pigs. There was no sheep. There was no donkeys. And there was no cows. Moo. And to the farmer, that little house seemed as quiet as it could be. And all his kids and Grandma and Grandpa. That's a nice story, isn't it? Sometimes it can be a little noisy, but that's what life is like. Families can be noisy. Isn't that a good story? I like that. Thanks for coming to Story Time. The Noisy House.